Good morning, everyone. It's Saturday, July 6th. We're here live from the TGA. I have my new friend Casey here, ready to talk about living donation and her journey and getting to the games.
Yes.
So thank you for coming.
Thanks for having me.
I'm so excited. If you all can't tell, she exudes confidence and excitement and enthusiasm. So no better way to start off the games than with Casey.
Awesome.
So let's jump right on in. Your story, I read a little bit about it. It began with your big heart and a quick lube oil change store.
Yes.
Is that correct?
Yes. So we joke that I gave away my kidney at the Quick Lube. I was getting my oil changed like we all do. And in Pampa, Texas, a friend of mine owned the Quick Lube, and we were sitting visiting, and she asked me to proofread a letter for her friend that needed a kidney she was going to post on Facebook. Halfway through the letter, I said, I'm O positive. How do I get tested? And 6 months later, we had surgery.
Okay, so no slow down into that. You jumped head first.
I did not get afraid until like the morning of surgery when they're like, here's the anesthesia consent and this, all. And I'm like, yeah, none of that's going to happen. He's like, I have to read it to you anyway.
It's important stuff.
But all I could think was this man's 2 kids were the same age as my 2 kids, and he was a single dad. What if my kids needed that? If I needed a kidney, I would want somebody to step up for me. And him being an O positive recipient, he could have waited years and years and years on dialysis. And so we got tested, and we were a perfect match. And so we had surgery 6 months later. It was insane.
Was that a whirlwind? What did it feel like? Very slow process, very quick process?
No, it felt super fast. There's 3 days of testing, and it at Memorial Hermann Hospital in Houston, they did amazing. I just felt like I was talking to friends. I was visiting. I was the blood work. There's a lot of blood work. But other than that, I just felt like I was visiting with friends. They asked about me, my support system, my health, and it's almost like what donor families go through when they're visiting in the hospital and answering the medical questions. You have to answer the same medical questions that you answer when you donate blood.
Okay.
And then all the tests to see if you're healthy enough, to see if you have the support system to help you. And finally, the 3rd day, they said that we were a perfect match, and it was insane. It was so funny because the first day of testing, we were such a perfect match. When we showed up for the 2nd day, everything said, your cousin. And I'm like, I did not know him.
That's got to be a little spooky.
It was crazy, but it's so much fun. Now, he calls me his kidney mama, like your baby mama, but a kidney mama.
That's sweet.
So it's so much fun to see.
Through that process, did anything truly, and in all transparency, deter you or give you pause? And I only ask so that when we talk about living donation with those who aren't familiar with it, that they feel compelled to be the kind of person you are.
See, for me, it was just, I'm a long-term migraine sufferer. So it was the medication that I've taken my whole life. Has that damaged anything? Will that stop me? Can I take something after? And so I had to really evaluate, because for a migraine, Tylenol doesn't work. And once you donate a kidney, you got to be really careful what you take. And as far as NSAIDs, Tylenol is all there is.
And how have you felt since?
I feel amazing. I do things, make sure I stay hydrated, make sure I get enough sleep. And it's actually improved my health because I'm paying more attention. After my donation, I went through a pretty ugly divorce and got really heavy. I got up to 230 pounds. My A1C was up here. They were talking about diabetes, pre-diabetes, putting me on medication. And I was like, I only have 1 kidney. And so getting healthy was imperative. And so training for the transplant games has actually probably saved my life.
Oh, that makes me happy to hear. Yeah. So it sounds like this was a fulfilling journey, not only for the recipient, but for you as well.
Absolutely. So through the process, I fell madly in love with transplant, and you only have 1 extra kidney to share. So I was like, how can I be a part of transplant for the rest of my life? And so I went to nursing school, and I graduated nursing school, and you have to have at least 2 years in an ICU. So I got that down. And my local OPO, because I live in the Panhandle, we don't have any transplant centers. So my goal was to be a transplant coordinator. My daughter was so little that she used to say, Mommy's going to be a transplant rutabaga. But my goal for years and years, I wanted all of my teachers in nursing school made sure I took classes and clinicals that would get me up the transplant ladder. And so when I graduated, I'm like, what in the world am I going to do up here in the Panhandle where there's no transplant centers? And so that is actually when I learned about OPOs. And I had no idea how transplant worked before that, because I just went through my transplant center. You know, Michael was like, I need a kidney. And so he asked his doctor, what does she have to do? We didn't go through an OPO. And so I had been a volunteer for Life Gift, and I said, what do I have to do to work for Life Gift? And so after I graduated nursing school, I applied every 6 months and would not leave them alone until they hired me. And so I just celebrated my 2nd anniversary as a family care specialist at Life Gift in the Panhandle. I cover all of West Texas with amazing other family care specialists. Kayla, Elvia, Kenny, I love you. But we walk in at the end of a patient's life when their family is getting ready to make a difficult decision, and we get the honor of loving on them.
You're so sweet.
It's not fair that that's when we meet families, but only 1% of people actually get to donate at the end of their life, because you have to be on a ventilator. Those organs have to have oxygen.
Be right. They have to be perfect.
And so 1% of registered donors, 1% of people get to be a donor at the end of their life. But I get to walk into that room and hug this little family and be the only hope that they have in this horrible time. I mean, there's nothing good that can come out of death. Unless they have the opportunity to help somebody else. I mean, 8 lives can be saved. Up to 75 others can be improved. I mean, I've got a kiddo who has a tissue recipient from dental implants. My son needs corneas someday because he's got an eye condition. And so transplant has touched every aspect of my life. And it's just a passion. I just want to help more people. I can only give 1 kidney, but I can help other people get their miracles.
You do.
And I just love being able to go in there and tell a family, hey, your loved one was registered, or your loved one has the opportunity and you have the choice to help others. I mean, I have got to meet so many. I think donor families are the most amazing humans on the face of the earth. And I get to hug their necks. This year during Donate Life Month at Covenant Hospital, I got to bring my very own stethoscope and hand a mom my stethoscope while she heard her son's heartbeat for the first time in over a year.
Wow.
That's the cookie. That's what I get to do. I get to help families keep their loved one alive a little bit. I get to help families get their miracle.
Absolutely.
I may never get to meet those recipients, but these donor families, they do. And as a living donor, I get to watch Michael every time he has a new grandbaby posted on Facebook and know that baby might not have the chance to know him if he hadn't gotten that transplant. If he had to go through years and years of dialysis and doctor appointments, because when you're an O recipient, it can take up to 10 years to get a donor organ. So, gosh, for him, I can't imagine. But for me, donating changed my whole life. People are like, how has it changed you?
It's evident in your entire being.
Nothing bad. I mean, the worst thing was for 3 months, I couldn't lift more than 5 pounds, and I have to be careful what I put in my mouth. I mean, oh my gosh, I needed that anyway.
It truly is. So what does this mean for, this is your first games?
This is our first games. 10 years I've been talking about it.
Everyone, this whole entire time that I've been sitting here with Casey, it's just so, it pours out of you. So I have 2 questions for you. One, how does your life compare to pre-transplant life to now? It seems like it's turned your whole world upside down. You talked quite a bit about it, but sum that up in maybe in one word. And I only ask you this to encourage other people to live that one word out that you're going to choose. When you choose to become part of this community, it does what? It did what for you? Well,
I have to cheat and say 2 words.
Okay, perfect. I'll take it.
Passion and purpose.
Okay.
Because, you know, I've always had a love for healthcare, but transplant has given me a passion, has given me a purpose, has given me a reason to go to work every day. I mean, so many people are like, I gotta go to work. And I'm like, I get to work today. We have a goofy schedule, and sometimes I don't know what day of the week it is, but I know I get to go love on families today. I tell people I have the best job in the whole world because I literally love people for a living.
You were meant to work in this job.
And, you know, before donation, I wanted to help people, but after donation, I get to help people every day get a miracle. like my friend Tina, who has lungs, like these amazing folks I've been meeting all day since yesterday. Oh my gosh. I'm like, we got to keep
your
more
first
tissues.
games is going to be a lot.
We're just crying everywhere. I didn't bring makeup. I'm like, because everything is just snotting all over everybody. I'm like, here's a Texas pin. Where are you from? And tell me your story. I mean, and brought Christina with me. She rode in my car. She's a donor mom. We came with Shannon. She's a donor mom. From Happy, my buddy Mel. We're the three from the Panhandle, and she's a kidney recipient. And just meeting everybody and hearing the stories of how donation has touched these lives. I mean, we could be in Paris for the Olympics, but here, oh my gosh, these people.
This is where it's at.
I'm walking the 5K this morning and just talking about transplant and hearing stories and seeing people who've been walking around 20 years, 30 years with donor organ.
They're living embodiments of it all.
And they're not sitting at home, you know, feeling sorry for themselves. They're out here walking a 5K at 7 o'clock in the morning at 90% humidity. But it's just like, this is what it's about. It's not about, oh, I need a transplant, my life is over. It's about, I need a transplant. How do I show people how you can live? Because it's not the end of the world. I mean, I donated, and my labs don't even show you that I donated. My doctors don't believe me. I'm like, here's the scar.
Let me prove it to you.
You know, because my creatinine is normal. It's 0.8, just like it was before I gave a kidney. And so donation has only changed my life positively. I mean, there's nothing negative. I just love and live it. So
with all this excitement that you have stored in your body, what do you think cycling, competing here will feel like when you get on that bike later this week?
I'm so excited. It's like, I tell everybody, I felt like a little kid at Christmas. That excitement that you can't sleep, and just being out there and putting on my jersey. I have been so stoked. Whenever piece comes in the mail, and just being a part of this amazing team, and everybody says everything is bigger in Texas. We have 111 members of Team Texas here this week.
Nope.
And we just loving people. And so to come out here to meet other donor champions and love on the transplant community is so much fun. I don't care if I medal. I just want to race. I just want to play.
I want to be there. I want to be a part of it.
And so I'm so stoked. I've been talking about it for 11 years. I'm going to go to the transplant games. I'm going to go to the transplant games. And it's always been excuse. But then I'm like, so 2 years ago, I joined the Life Gift Second Chance Run in Lubbock. And my secretary, Valen, told me to be the pacer. And she's like, you can use my bike. It'll be fine. I hadn't been on a bike in 20 years. And this little 10-year-old kid passed me on foot. And I'm like, I'm dying.
Puffing and puffing.
I'm dying. And so this little dude looked at me and he's like, I beat you, Casey. And I said, next year.
I'm back.
Next year. And so I started training and I started riding. And unfortunately, due to lack of participation, our second chance run in the Panhandle got canceled. So only Fort Worth and Houston, but you can sign up.
Don't forget.
And so I was like, well, I've been training. What am I going to do? And my daughter, in all her sass, looks at me and she's like, Mom, the transplant games you've been talking about for a decade.
She sounds like a very wise
She's a very, very wise little girl. She's 22, but she wouldn't like me calling her a little girl.
Okay.
But
I thought she was going to be a lot younger. She's a wise young woman. Sorry, daughter.
Yes. But she's like, why don't you do the transplant games? So I just kept training, and here I am. I had to up my bike game and up my gear game and learn and train and really get into it. But I've lost 100 pounds. My A1C has gone down. I am, according to my smart devices, I'm 7 years below my cardiac age. So
love that.
I am.
You're every doctor's dream when it comes to liver donation. You're a true embodiment of what could happen and should happen post donation.
All you've got to do is love living and take care of yourself, and anything is possible.
I love that. So let's look ahead. Let's not wish away this week, but let's look ahead to 2026. If you were to come back, which I think you're going to be pretty hooked, you already seem pretty hooked now, would you be open to any other competitions? And if so, what would you love to join and try maybe 2 years from now?
I I did not have any idea that I could sign up for so many things. I was like, okay, you pick your sport and you do it.
You thought you were a real Olympian. You're really going Olympic style.
One thing is my thing. But next time I really hope to add, I want to do lyrics for life because I am all about music.
Okay, what would before we go any further, what song would you pick? I'm a big karaoke girl, so I have to ask.
Anything Kelly Clarkson or Pink. I love.
Do you watch her show? She's so good.
She's magnificent. I love Kelly.
Okay, we'll talk to this offline. Yeah.
But I would love to do swimming.
Okay.
And I am looking forward to maybe adding the virtual triathlon next time.
There you go. You're going all in then.
Just going all in.
You're adding triathlon. You're not. And swimming, watch out. They're a competitive bunch.
They are.
Yeah, they don't mess around.
Yes.
I would say that swimming's our most competitive, then track and field is right below it. They don't, it's not a casual thing, so be prepared.
Team Texas brought home 2 golds yesterday in swimming, so...
Team Texas always brings home a bunch of golds. It's kind of crazy. All right, well, thank you for your time, but before we wrap up, I just want to ask, if you could look in that camera, I think your camera's actually over here, and just tell in 10 seconds why someone should donate. You've said it quite a bit, but I really want you to try and encapsulate it and make sure that people who don't know the power of donation can really take it home with them and understand why it's so important.
I think that living donation is important because there's over 100,000 people in the United States right now waiting, and only 1% of registered donors get to donate at the end of their life. So we need living donors. If everybody would sign up, then there wouldn't be so many people waiting for a miracle. And I see everybody around here is proof of what that miracle can give you. I see people walking around. I had dinner last night with a beautiful lady who has been 22 years with a liver. And oh my God, to have 22 years when you think it's over. I mean, that's what donation is about. Living, deceased, a donation. Talk to your family about your wishes. Know and be ready and just love on people.
Absolutely. Well, thank you, Casey. You just made you started my whole week off perfectly. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I appreciate all you do for the community. I appreciate your enthusiasm. So happy you're here. I hope it's the best week ever.
Thank you.
And I'm so excited to see you crush it out there this week.
Thanks. Thanks so much for having me.
Of course, anytime. Thank you, everyone. We'll see you next time live from the TGA.